Jeff Voss last updated 1600, December 10, 2017. Tiny homes are an answer to the housing crisis, according to manufacturer Colin Whiteman, who makes them ready to go for around $54,000 for a 25 square meter cottage. Tiny homes on wheels could be the future, with caravan park site rental as low as $100 per week. Caravans don't need building consent and generate virtually no compliance costs. With detachable links to Holiday Park plumbing and power. Spring Creek Holiday Park near Blenheim had the first application for an eco-cottage on wheels, with the manufacturer winning assurance from the Marlborough District Council that no consents were required to park it permanently at a plumbed and wired site. With the usual detachable power and sewerage links, no extra costs were involved. If the cottage owner wanted to make a more permanent connection, a registered plumber or drain layer had to do the work. Read more. Housing Minister Phil Twyford commissions Housing Crisis Report. Housing Crisis documentary pulls no punches on eve of election. Why I'm over the tiny house movement. When 76-year-old Dennis Greer sought permission from the Marlborough District Council last week to site his 25 square meter house on wheels at the Holiday Park, he was told he would need various consents, including stormwater discharge, and it was likely to cost him more than $5,000 in compliance costs. It's the wheels in the chassis frame that qualify the tiny homes as caravans, and therefore free from building codes. The manufacturer of Greer's tiny home, Colin Whiteman of Christchurch, went into bat for Greer and pointed out to the council officials the home was, in fact, a caravan. That cleared the way, Whiteman said. Caravans don't need any building consents. This is a caravan, effectively. The power, water and septic are all detachable fittings, like a caravan, Whiteman said. He said Greer had the option of more permanent plumbing, and would need a drain layer for that, provided the caravan park itself passed its sewerage inspections. Greer's tiny home would be legal in the eyes of local authorities. Tiny homes can have cool interiors. The Greer home interior would be similar to this. This is the way of the future, Whiteman said of his $54,000 tiny homes. We can't keep up with demand. It's a logical solution for the housing crisis. Trailer parks are huge in the United States, where it's an accepted part of their culture. We're making them for caravan parks all across the South Island because they're perfectly geared for that setting. Caravans have no building code, and you'd freeze your ass off in most of them. They're just a tin box, even the $100,000 ones. Tiny home ensuite. The caravan park plumbing and wiring connections can be detachable, or more permanent fittings, in which case a registered plumber would be needed. We're setting the standard for these homes, with full insulation including underfloor double glazing, proper headroom and livable width inside. The demand is coming from Airbnb, farm cottages, granny flats as well as holiday parks. With combined power and gas it's possible to go off the grid in it, Whiteman said. Spring Creek Holiday Park manager Andy Collingwood said Greer's tiny house was the first they had considered at the popular camping ground. We have around 70 sites and about 40 of them have long-term residents in caravans, people staying 6 weeks. The more there's a lack of accommodation in the area, and we're fairly strict about who stays. A lot of contract workers and they need written work references, even the self-employed contractors, Collingwood said. Theoretically, Whiteman's tiny homes can be towed on their own wheelbase, but this one has a longer journey to its new site. We have a good bunch here. In Mr. Greer's case, he can choose how he links to the sewerage and power, and would come under the campground's compliance. Anything else he needs from the council is his business. Collingwood said the rates were $100 per week plus power for a long-term stay, and $35 per night short-term. The Marlborough District Council Building Control Group manager Bill East said the tiny house vehicle fits into the activity that does not require a building consent. Tiny homes take on a more permanent look once a deck is added and the owner settles in with a barbecue and a few pot plants. Any resulting effect, if any, on the existing effluent system will be an issue for the property owner to address, East said. The Marlborough